we're live.
Here we go. What's going on, everybody? We're going to wait a few minutes before we get started, let more people get in here. I see we've already got Big Mike and Fishing Local 252. Clayton, what's going on, Clayton? I see you put a comment in there.
Fourth. I'm fourth.
Nice. I'm glad to see everybody's in here waiting on it. Like I said, we'll give it a few minutes, let more people pour in here. We'll get started. Let's see. We're here. We'll get started.
Yeah, it says you got 3 people in chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
awesome,
I think I set this up perfectly at 1 hour before the Catfish Weekly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Lots of good shows. There's Kelly.
Let's see. Actually, while we got a moment, and that's my wife. Me go ahead and share this out on my Facebook. I always forget something.
Yeah, that's it's something you gotta develop that routine to do. Making sure that you hit all the social medias and all that stuff. It's all part of it.
Oh yeah, I swear I would lose my head if it wasn't connected. Oh, I guess while we're waiting for a few minutes, you want to talk to the folks in here about your hat?
Oh, sure. I'm sharing it on my Facebook page right now. Yeah, so hey, there's Zach Murray. What's up, Zach?
What's going on, Zach? How you doing,
I
bud?
just got your notification, so that's probably why people aren't jumping in. It just came through. Muskrat's here. Yeah, so Chris from Catfish, he messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm trying to uh get some of our YouTube you know, promotional staff to do a custom hat." And he said, "Would I be interested in picking out a couple colors and a hat?" And I said, "Heck yeah. What do you mean, would I be interested?" And so I came up with this. The green's kind of hard to see because the light's on it, but there you go. It's kind of like the palmetto green there. And he sent these 2 out to me today, and they're for sale now on catfishclothing.com. You can save 20% using PCATS20. But yeah, it's really cool. It's nice to have a company like that supports YouTubers as well as tournament anglers. And sometimes the fishing company, well, most times the fishing companies support the tournament anglers because that's who everybody wants to be like, right? They want to be like those guys who win thousands of dollars. I want to be like those guys
Yeah,
who
right.
win thousands of dollars. But Chris over at Catfish recognizes that there's a market for both, and so he gives people like me and a bunch of others an opportunity to have a platform, and it helps. It's mutually beneficial for him as
Right.
well.
It looks good. It's a good
Thanks,
looking
man.
hat.
Yeah, he said pick your design, pick your colors, and that's what I picked, and it looks pretty good to me. I like it.
All right, let's see. We got Roger in here, Catfishing with
Mhm.
Cause. How y'all doing? Brian B, what's going on, bud?
Uncle B,
Dale.
Mike
Brian B
Irvin.
he'll be on here the Monday before CatCon.
And I chuckled to myself, and I do appreciate you inviting me on, but I've watched your show a couple times, and it's about monster fish. And when you asked me to be on, I was like, "Why'd you ask me to come on?"
I mean, they can't see behind here, but those are monster fish. Those are
They're
good
big.
sized fish.
They're monster fish to me, but definitely Brian B. Man, he's got a couple of 70 plus fish that's going to be fun to talk to him about.
Oh yeah,
And I
it's
saw I saw the one you did with Muskrat and his big fish. That was awesome. Uh, I was telling you that Lake Moultrie 2 weeks ago somebody caught 106. So they are in there. I gotta be at the right place at the right time, and I'll get one of them big hundreds.
right. I seen online. I think it was today or yesterday that the Mad Cats company, they sponsor a lot of these tournament guys. And
Mhm.
one of the groups, they caught 2 catfish over 100 pounds.
I
I
saw
think,
I saw one at the Ice Bowl on Kerr Lake, and it was 100 and almost 113 pounds.
wow.
And then that's something, I was just talking to Chris from Catfish, and I said, "Isn't that something to be in a state like Virginia where you can catch 100 and well, shoot, King's Catfishing, Tim King, he put one of his clients on a 130-pound fish. And what is it like to be in a state where you can catch a 130-pound fish and it not be the state record?
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, now, I mean, it does help the health of those big fish because you're not going to hold it and wait for, the DNR to get there and the biologist. You're going to let it go, pretty much after you weigh it, get pictures. But still, man, I can't imagine catching a 130-pound catfish and it not being even within 10 pounds of a state record. Because
Yeah.
Virginia, for those of you who don't know in chat, Virginia has the state record blue cat at 143 pounds. So.
My God. See, our
Mm,
state record was just caught, I think, last year down here in the spot that I was actually fishing in my last line.
really?
It's what was it, 111 pounds,
Yeah.
something like that. It was, it was in the triple digits. I couldn't believe it because for the longest time, I didn't think that our waters had large catfish because I went my whole life without seeing any.
Right.
I think the biggest was 30 pounds. Some guy caught
And
like,
that's the Chattahoochee, right?
yeah, Chattahoochee. But then apparently, the further down you go, which is why I haven't heard, it's 2 hours past where I live at.
Mm,
The catfish get exponentially bigger. Like I talked
right.
to the Corps of Engineers because I'm going to be fishing under their dam when they're done repairing it, and they told me they're almost done. Just be prepared. But the average size blue cat on that section of the river is 40 pounds.
Nice. That's a good
That's,
average.
I was like, the average. Like, let's clarify.
I'll
You said
take that
average.
average.
He said, "Yeah, average." He said, "They have tons of flatheads. The average is 15 pounds. Not as many blues, but the average is 40 pounds." I was,
Nice.
okay.
Nice. Yeah, that's just it just blows my mind. I mean, like we kind of talked a little bit before, and you said, big fish is relative to the area and the person, and Santee Cooper is a world renowned fishery, uh, but they're not pulling out like like the James River or Kerr Lake. They're not pulling out hundreds multiple times a year in Santee Cooper. I think last year around this time there was 103 caught. And then this year is 106. It's usually like one of those fish a year. And it might seem like, I mean, if 103 was caught last year and 106 was caught this year, what if that was the same fish?
Same fish.
Because both of them were released, right?
I would think that he'd put on more than 3 pounds in a year, though.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you'd think, especially
But
being at the same time of year.
right.
Mm.
Oh, we got some folks in here now. I see Bob sneaking in. We got
Yeah.
two stands. What's up, Garv?
Johnny Small Pepper. I like that name.
Yeah, I like that one. We got Laura the Explorer in here.
Miss Annette and Don R.
Well, I guess if since we got some folks in here now, we'll go ahead and we'll get started. I don't. They can't see the picture behind us, but we got Kevin from Palmetto Cats. I know most of y'all know him. I reached out to him and he said he would come on here and talk about his fish, and
Yeah, man.
he said he had two good ones to talk about. I told him absolutely, this would be perfect time for it. So I
Yeah.
guess I'll hand it over to you and let you get into your story.
Well, I got to start off with saying that I just started chasing catfish about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years now. 2019, I started, filming for YouTube and got the bug to start targeting, what we would call trophy catfish, big catfish.
Right.
Um, and before that, all I did was fish for panfish. And Dad and I would fish for catfish every once in a while. In fact, I just had a conversation where I didn't even know what a no-roll sinker was until I started watching YouTube. I know that seems bizarre, but all we used was egg sinkers. The egg sinker and the split shot. Those were the two weights I knew about. They were an inline lead to a swivel, a Carolina rig with a hook, and I don't even know what brand of hook. Couldn't tell you the line. Couldn't tell you anything about it. But that's what we used, and we would anchor every once in a while, and we would drift, uh, just drift down the river with the dead stick right off the side of the boat, and that's all we'd do. But I got into it, and I've been learning sometimes the hard way, and sometimes most time through YouTube. Through people like you and Dieter and anybody else who's had any videos on there. I watch all the time, and this first fish, I had caught fish in college that I think one of them was bigger than both of these fish. It was a giant flathead. And to be honest, I couldn't even tell you, you know, the date that I caught it. I can tell you this, I ate the fish. So
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and make everybody mad. But I was 19 years old, and I was out there with some buddies in my John boat, my 14-foot John boat with a 9.9 Evinrude on the back. And we were out in the brackish water. Um, and I had no clue. I was trying to, for all I knew, I was gonna catch a shark.
Right.
I didn't care. We had some mud minnows. We had thrown a cast net on, and I had them down there. And next thing I know, this my rod bends over, and I'm holding the rod. I didn't have any rod holders, and so this fish is towing me around in this John boat. My friends are in another boat, and just you know laughing at me, having a good time, and I think I got a shark on the end of the line. It's pulling me around, and they're following me with their trolling motor, and I bring it up, and it looks like a giant yellow submarine, and I freaked out, and I brought it in the boat, and we took it home, took pictures, skinned it, and cleaned it. I have no clue where the picture is, but that one, knowing what I know now about fish, I'd say that's about a 50 or 60 pound flathead that I caught back then. But since I started documenting, which is what we're here to talk about, the fish, my biggest fish that I've ever weighed on camera or ever weighed in general. I've never weighed fish before YouTube is a 52-pound blue. And it was funny because hosting a I was hosting a an online tournament to where people went live on their own channels, and it's designed to where my channel was the biggest, and so we did something to correlate to the Kentucky Derby, which was on May 1st. And so it was called yeah, I didn't weigh it. It was 170 pounds. You're right, Zach. My bad. My bad.
I see
You're
that.
right. You're right. You're right. Now that I think about it,
68 inches long.
we'll go 90, state record ish, right above the state record. But yeah, we'd been fishing all day, and it's called the Whisker Derby. And it's just a little, tournament, and we shared it out. Everybody had the same hashtags and whatever, and there's a bunch of channels involved, and so the fans could go pop in to each channel and update everybody and watch everybody as they're going. It was really, I thought it was entertaining. Well, I wasn't doing well at all, and I had fished all morning, and finally I was just about, it was about over. I think it ended at 1 o'clock, and it was about noon. I said, well, you know what? I'm an anchor in current on a ledge. There should be fish here. So I anchored up. Um, I took a piece of chicken about this big,
Yeah.
and Epic Catfish hates this story, and so does Chris from Catfish. But I took a piece of chicken about a $half size. I think it had been frozen 2 or 3 times previously. Put it on the hook, threw it in, set it in a rod holder, and I was adjusting 2 other rods. As soon as I got done, that rod went down. It was a Muddy River Catfishing Paula Smith edition rod with a Cast King Rover 60 on it. And that thing went and just zipping. And I was in fast moving current, and I've had medium sized fish rip drag out all the time, just like that. So I'm not really thinking much of it. And I'm sitting there, and I got the live stream behind me, and then all of a sudden the fish goes to the left of the boat. And I was like, okay, well, this fish is swimming. And then it goes to the right of the boat, and then it swims upstream. And I was like, guys, we got a big fish. Any fish that starts swimming upstream in current on the hook is going to be a bigger fish. So I'm
Yep.
thinking, yeah, man, I got 30, 40 pounds now, man. That's all right. So the fish comes up and I'm reeling it and it goes back down. I fight it for a minute. You can see in the video, I'm having a good old time. And I even turn the clicker on every once in a while so people can hear the drag going out. I'm stupid. I just, anything for entertainment. Anyway, I get it up and it looks like a big fish. I get it in the net, I get it in the boat, and I'm thinking this could be the new PB. Before then on YouTube, all I had, my biggest was a 33 pounder on YouTube. Um, so I was like, this is going to blow that out the water. And I picked it up in the net, weighed it twice. It said 54 and a half the first time. And actually, it said 56 and a half the first time. And it said 54 and like 1/8 the second time. So then I took the net off. It was 52 pounds roughly. So that was it. And Brian B said, yeah, I was all smiles, man. I was thanking God and hallelujahs and thank you, Jesus. And it
Right.
finally happened. And uh, it just it was awesome. And it was a nice, thick, it was really thick and muscular, dark blue cat. And I picked it up and I sat there and held it for the camera and patted it like a little child. And finally I let it go. And I thought, I was worried because I thought I had it out of the water for too long. And once I put it in the water, that thing straight down in current. So it swam straight down. And that was that fish, man. I think that day I caught one more fish other than that on the live stream, and that was it. So that's why I don't get too discouraged sometimes when I haven't caught a bunch of fish in a day, because you could have a day like that where the fish you catch is the monster one.
Right. I like how everybody has the same story. It's a big fish when it starts running upstream.
Yep.
Medium cats and small cats, they'll open their mouth and drift downstream, but a big cat, if they
Mhm.
start heading upstream, everybody is, oh, okay,
Mm.
this is a different class of fish.
Yeah, they're swimming sideways and going across, lines and coming upstream, coming to you. Usually if, a fish like, uh, you know, even a 20-pound fish, you're going to drag that thing upstream with you. And, it may feel like a big fish, but, you had to drag it against that current.
Right.
Not this fish. Yeah, chicken is a bonus. Yeah, I remember being live and everybody was, definitely rooting me on and being really supportive in the chat. And then somebody asked me what it was caught on, and I said, "You're not gonna believe it." And I said it was chicken, and I proved it when Laura the Explorer made a clip of the video for me and put it up. And I went back and watched the clip, or I took that clip and I went back earlier from when I threw the rod in. And of course, I zoomed in on it, and you see the chicken right on the hook.
Wow. That makes a lot of folks mad. I actually
It
tried chicken
does.
here, and people are looking at me like I was crazy. I'm like, I mean, whatever it takes to get a bite.
Well, that's the thing. I had bluegill. I had I had fresh river herring because they had just ran. So I had fresh bait and I had it on everything. So I had I had chicken on that one rod, I had herring on another, bluegill on another one, and he chose that particular fish on that particular day at that time, chose the chicken. Why that fish chose it? You can be scientific or you can just say it was the luck of the draw.
He was hungry and it was in his face.
But when we get to the next one, we'll examine that again because guess what the next one was caught on?
Oh no. I see we got some more people popping in.
Yeah, go ahead. We don't want to go too
Rustic
fast.
and Jeremy's Tournament Cats. Lance, what's everybody doing? Everybody good tonight?
Lance McCoo guy.
Yep. Yeah, so
Hooks
that
and
one was
handle.
on chicken. So let's get into your other cat. Now the other one I actually got to see a little bit of. So I actually came in late to the live and
Mm.
heard y'all talking about a fish and had to go back to it. But Yeah, if you want to
That
go
was that
ahead and
was
get into that.
fun, yeah. Yeah, so I just got back from, where'd I get back from? Yeah, I think I just got back from New Mexico, and I went and fished with Chris, and I got back, and I had taken my boat, um, to get the enclosure put on it, and this was in October. And then Justin Johnston texts me from Kayak Catfish, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm coming down." I said, "Of course you're coming down this week after I've taken my boat to the shop, and I'm not going to get it back forever." But anyway, I ended up I was like, "Ah, dude, I'll walk out there and fish with you." You know, he's going to that little corner. We've dubbed it Kayak Corner here on Moultrie because Justin won
Okay.
the he won the TCKA uh, national championship sitting on that corner.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so everybody dubbed it Kayak Corner, and it's an old hatchery. Um, it's not. I think the deepest it goes is about 12 foot, right in the canal. But basically a big stump field, and if you don't know where you're going, it's like
Oh man.
a minefield. But anyway, he came down, and I was thankful to my cousin. She let me, cousin Todd and Becky, they let me borrow their boat, and so I hooked it up and went out there and pulled up on the beach, and we talked forever. We talked about YouTube for probably 2 or 3 hours, just sitting there, no bites, nothing. We had fresh perch. I had bluegill out of my tank. I had river herring on, and I threw one piece of chicken out there. And Justin gave me the hardest time about putting that. You ain't gonna catch nothing on that chicken. I can't even believe you're fishing with it. And of course, he's being funny. I mean, he's not really,
Right.
dogging me for it, but he was dogging me, in a funny way. So I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you'd be surprised. No, you ain't gonna catch nothing on that chicken." I said, "All right, probably not, probably not." So anyway, we're sitting there, and then he decides to go live because we hadn't been catching any fish, and he needs to make a video, right? So we go live, and not soon after, not long after he went live, his rod went down, and it was a striper. So he caught a striper on the live stream, and that was fun. That was pretty cool. And then we sat there and we were talking to his audience and everything, and just having a good time. And I had the rod I put the chicken on was the Muddy River Blue Cat rod. So both of my biggest fish have come on Muddy River rods, by the way. Um,
Nice.
so I put that on there, and all of a sudden that Blue Cat rod bends almost in half. I had it straight up and down on because on that boat that they let me borrow, they didn't have like rod holders like we have, like monster rod holders or anything like that. They're just straight up and down, the silver rocket launcher types.
Right.
And that rod bent in half, and that reel was just zip, 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 zip. He goes, "Oh man, that's a big one!" And he got me more excited than I was intentionally. But I grabbed that thing and started reeling, and uh, the amazing thing is that fish was in 4 foot of water.
Wow.
4 foot. Um,
Wow, that's
you know,
shallow.
yeah, and so that's the amazing thing about our water is that you can catch catfish even all the way up through October. In December this year, I caught three, 15 to 20 pounders in December in 4 foot of water. But they'll come up in that shallow water to feed, and for bait fish and the mussels. They'll sift that mussel. Motor red. That's right, Lori. but yeah, so that rod went over, and at once I picked it up and I knew the hook was set, you saw the tail, wow, pow, wow, pow, hitting the top of the water, and they can't go up and down, right? So they have to go left and right, and it's zinging left and zinging right, and we bring it in, and at closer it gets, the more I'm like, man, this is a nice fish. And so Justin had his, water boots on or whatever, and I just had a pair of jeans and tennis shoes on. So he walked in the water and grabbed the fish, and when he picked it up, he goes, "Man, that thing's got some weight to it, Kevin. I'm like, dang it. I don't have my sling. I don't have my net. And I refuse to weigh a fish that big by hanging it by the jaw. I know some
Right.
people don't have a problem with it. I just don't. Um, and anytime I see it, I kind of cringe a little bit. So I refused to weigh the fish. I had my scales there, but Justin had a measuring board. You know, he had his bumper board there. So we put it on the musky bumper board and it was 43 and a half inches, I think. Um, and that was good enough for me. I was like, I know this is a big fish. It's 50 plus. So that's what we categorize it as, and picked it up and threw it out there and put it back in. It swam away. And then Justin's like, well, what'd you catch that on, Kevin, on the live stream? I said, man, I really don't know, man. I really don't know. So uh you know what, we put it back in the water and we're talking the whole time, and then another rod goes down. One of my rods goes down. And so I reel that in, and it's a 30, it's probably close to 30-pound blue, but it looks so small after catching that big one. And so two of my rods were in, neither and the rod that I caught that one on still had the bait, so it was a herring. He goes, well, if that one was the herring, then what'd you catch the other one on? I said, I think it was chicken. He goes, that wasn't no daggum chicken. That wasn't. So just for him, I reeled the other two rods in, and the chicken wasn't on those two rods. And I had only put it on one. So that fish, here's the stats on that fish. That fish was 50 plus pounds. I think most people can agree on that. It was caught in October in 4 foot of water on a piece of chicken.
Stacking the odds against yourself and still winning.
I mean, and maybe I got lucky. Shoot, a broken clock is right twice a day, so maybe I got lucky. But man, it was fun being lucky that night. And that's it. That's all we caught. We didn't catch anything else after that second catfish.
Yeah, that's a heck
But
of a. I mean, that's a heck of a fish to catch, though. If you're not going to catch anything but 2 fish, you got a 30 and a 50.
yeah,
That makes a whole day right there. I
yeah,
don't care if I wait 13 hours for the bite. If
I
he's
know.
50 plus, that's it.
And that's the thing, and that's the thing that I love about um knowing your area a little bit, because both of us, Justin and I, have both fished that, without each other. Um, he made the spot famous. And so there's been a lot more people fishing that area since he made it famous.
Right.
But it's awesome to be able to sit there and know. Now you can only do it during a weekday. But if you sit there long enough and you soak those baits, that one of those bigger blues are going to come through there eventually. So you just got to sit there and you got to be patient. Zach, honestly, man, I bring chicken on every trip with me, and I mix it up. Sometimes it doesn't get a single hit, nothing at all. But then sometimes it's just that's what they choose, and it's so bizarre. Um, and I don't try to analyze it too much. We got other people doing that. Dieter's got all the science on it about the amino acids and everything, and that could be true. I really don't know. But all I know is that fish bite it. I've caught, I don't know, 40, 50 fish on chicken in the past year and a half, so that the first time, yeah, the how many grams of Kool-Aid. So yeah, so like what Stan's talking about is the first time I fished with chicken was, right after I got my boat 2 summers ago. And I just did a Kool-Aid chicken video because honestly, I'd seen Norm. He's changed the name to his channel, but it used to be Catfish Headhunters. And he had a chicken video with Kool-Aid. And I said, man, I've never fished with that before in my life. So I was like, well, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna use 4 different colors and make an awesome thumbnail.
Oh God.
So that's what I did. And I went out there and I caught 15 fish on chicken. Nothing but chicken. Well, no, I had perch out there for control. But I've caught 15 fish, and the one that the flavor that was the best was the lemonade flavored Kool-Aid.
Not just chicken, but now Kool-Aid chicken. You're up in the
Yeah.
ante one more time.
Well, this was before both of these fish were caught. I'd
Oh,
never
okay.
used chicken before, and that's what Stan's talking about, because Stan's like, lemonade chicken. I'm gonna use that. So Stan started using lemonade chicken, And all I hear is lemonade, 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 and you know, then I tried Jello, and but honestly, they like the plain chicken just as good.
That is so funny. I've actually never had any luck with Kool-Aid chicken. I've had lots of luck with chicken, but not Kool-Aid chicken. I don't think I've ever caught a single fish on it. But I mean, it'd be worth trying
I don't
again.
know if it makes a difference or not. I don't know.
I'm sure it does. You know, when I carp fish, I actually make dough balls and I actually flavor
Yeah,
them with
yeah.
Kool-Aid, and that's usually where I use and catch fish is carp on the Kool-Aid balls. So I don't see why a catfish wouldn't grab it. You know.
Well, I mean it's proven. It's proven. Some people on YouTube. You just go look up Kool-Aid chicken bait or Jello chicken bait, and they're all over the place.
Oh yeah.
But it will. They like plain chicken. Look at Jimmy from Fishing and Gear. He fishes down here on Santee Cooper, and that's who you need to get on. You need to get Jimmy on here. Jimmy's biggest fish he ever caught is like 75 pounds, and it was on a piece of chicken.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
he
actually,
caught. That's all he fishes with is chicken.
oh, that's okay.
That's it. He don't fish with nothing else.
I mean, if you trust your bait, you know.
Yeah,
I actually
yeah.
seen an article. What was it? A couple weeks ago. Now you're talking about chicken. Somebody caught like a
Mhm.
triple digit blue cat on chicken. So
I
I
don't
mean,
doubt
if,
it.
if you'll catch 100-pound catfish on chicken, then I mean you can use it for anything.
Now here's my honest opinion. Here's my honest opinion. If you can get fresh bait that's to your that lives in your waters, that's gonna you know tit for tat. The odds are gonna be in your favor if you get that fresh bait that's in your water. I think that's gonna be your number one thing. That's what I try to do. The only reason I actually started using lemon Kool-Aid right after that. See?
See 20s and 30s on
Yeah.
lemonade chicken or lemon
But he
Kool-Aid.
fit but Stan understands though now, he uses gizzard shad mostly now because he knows that fact too, just like you do and everybody in chat, I'm sure. That uh, the chicken is a great bait if you can't get anything else. And sometimes it may be the what you call it, the razzmatazz, the one thing that the offshoot. I can't my vocabulary. I'm missing the word I'm looking for, but it's that one thing that is a game changer that they may want.
Right,
But I'm a firm believer that definitely, the fresh bait that is in your water is the best.
right,
If somebody said, Kevin, I got a giant pack of chicken here, fresh chicken, or I have a bunch of live white perch, and you're gonna go fish Lake Moultrie, I would choose the white perch. So if that says anything.
right. That goes to something my dad taught me as a kid. When you talk about using the chicken and everything, you can't catch a fish sitting at home. And
Yeah,
if the
that's true.
only bait that you got is chicken in your freezer, the odds of you catching a fish or a good
Mhm.
fish are better if you put a bait out there. It may not be what's, exactly in your
Yeah,
area, but you've got a bait in the water, it's a chance.
yeah, and that's all I'm saying, and so it doesn't nothing makes me really upset on here, but it kind of I almost roll my eyes when people get upset, like literally upset that people use chicken. I'm like, come on, guys. Number
Right.
one, they're not hurting you at all. They're not
Here's the
hurting you
man
at all.
this is the man that taught me about chicken
There you
right
go.
here, Joe.
There you go.
And I actually watched him on a trip. We went with him one time, and we weren't really catching too much, so we started drifting chicken, and we started tearing
Mhm.
up blue cats.
Yeah. I mean, Joe's got the video evidence. I can't tell you how many times a month I go back and find a Chat Cats video just as I know I've seen that somewhere, and I'll go back and yeah, Joe's done it. So I go back
Right,
and check that out. Um, but yeah, like that's why I kind of, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody who is an adamant believer in using natural bait. Um, I just I kind of wish people would take it easy. For people that work a 9 to 5 job, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And, if they want to get out on the water and they don't have time to go hunt bait like me most of the time, and they grab a pack of chicken and they're having fun and they're catching fish. I think, what's the big deal? I think what most people have a problem with is that they see they see YouTubers doing it, and so they make it they think that we're telling people that's what you should use. And
Right.
they don't want the wrong information going out. And I understand that, you shouldn't be giving out information if you're not qualified to give it out. I understand that. That's why when I started my YouTube channel, and I say it intermittently for new people, but I don't know what I'm doing. Don't do what I do. I'm learning, and if you want to learn with me, then come along and watch and we'll learn together. If what I do works and you try and it works for you, I'm happy.
Right.
So don't do what I do. I'm gonna tell everybody right now, don't do what I do.
You at least got
Um,
two good fish to back it up, though.
yeah, I mean it is what it is. I don't do what Kevin does. Now, if I'm catching panfish, I know a lot about panfish. And I know a lot more. I've been fishing for panfish for 40 years, so I know about, well, not 40, 35 years, but I know that's my fish. These
Right.
catfish, I'm learning. So, go watch Joe or go watch Steve or some other, Stan knows a lot about it. Epic, Bobcat, Muskrat. Go watch those guys and come to my channel and let's have fun.
Right. Hey, that works too. I mean,
Yeah, let's
that's
just have fun.
I started this channel to prove to people that I was catching the stuff that I was catching. People would see a picture I would take and they'd be like, "That's Photoshop." Like, well, here you go. I mean, we got just evidence on here on YouTube, but it's
I
mostly just fun and learning. I mean,
Yeah,
one good thing about the catfish community is you've got this huge pool of knowledge between all these
yeah,
channels that you can draw from and that draw off of each other. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's a good
yeah,
place to learn and to figure out, especially your waters. They may be different, but a lot of the
mhm.
same things still apply, and you can get that information if you need to from any one of these channels on here.
Well, I think one of the reasons my channel has had relative success is because there's a lot of people that come fish our waters, and it's way different than any place else. Um, like you can almost catch fish shallow all year. Now this year our waters, we've had a cold year relatively. Um, so they've gone deep the past few weeks, but you can catch big catfish shallow pretty much all year. Bless you. But so when I watch other people's channels, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't translate. It doesn't translate here. Or I have a tidal river and it doesn't translate to the river. Um, but anyway, so I guess to just to wrap up the chicken thing is like, I think most YouTubers that use chicken tell everybody, or they should, that the natural bait is the best. But hey, if you want to go fishing, and what's different? Here's the last thing. What's different um, from using chicken than using a stink bait?
Right. I
What,
would
what
actually I
what's
would count
different,
on the chicken more than I would on the stingbait.
right?
So,
Because it stinks,
right.
but it's artificial. It doesn't it doesn't come from the river or the lake, um, and catfish like it. So
Right.
what's the difference? So, you know, that being said, I think we've kicked the chicken horse.
Yeah.
So it's dead.
I real quick before we get off of this
Yeah.
topic, you being you said you pan fished before you got
Oh
into like
yeah.
the heavy catfishing. So one of my go-to baits for catching big bluegill when I need catfish bait and they're not hitting crickets or worms or
Uh huh.
like wax minnows or wax worms, I mean, chicken liver
Really?
because it's bloody and it has a strong smell. If I know they're there and they're not hitting their normal things, and I have chicken liver with me, which usually I do just for channel cats and stuff, I'll snip a little piece off with the blood and the fat and put it on the hook. and I will sit
Hmm,
there and wear out double hand size bluegill in my waters.
that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know of
That's
anybody that's ever
interesting.
done that, but
No,
I
I've never
found out
heard of
by
it.
accident.
Yeah, I mean they'll eat bluegill eat pretty much anything you throw down there, but yeah, I never heard of that. That's cool. And
It
now
worked.
I have caught perch and bluegill off of little pieces of chicken, so I guess yeah, it does work out. Yeah.
Right. Well, we got a little while to go before this thing wraps up. If you want to, we can answer some questions people have for you. I do want to know what kind of setups were you using for these two fish? Were they just the normal like Carolina rig, or what you have going on those days?
Well, the oddly enough, I had just come back from Washington D.C. I think was that 20? Yeah, it was 2021. Man, the time is just runs together. I just come back from DC and Virginia where I visited Chunky Cats and Has and all those guys up there, Mark and Brian B, not DMV, but DC Metro. And I went fishing with Mike Chavez and Chris Kramis from Catfish. And Chris was using a three-way rig. Now I've seen a three-way rig before, and I really hadn't had any much experience with it. I didn't really care to use it, but he told me I should try it. And so that day on that rod, only on that rod, I used a three-way rig. And so the first catfish in May was on a three-way um, rig with a 4 ounce flat sinker or bank sinker on the bottom, coin sinker, and that's what that one was caught on. The other one was caught on either a Santee rig or a Carolina rig. I have to go back at the video and look at it, but it's one of the 2.
That's neat.
Mhm.
So, well, I guess if you guys want to bring up some questions, and we'll see if we can't get them answered for you until somebody starts bringing some in. If there's anything that you want to touch on, or anything you want to talk about, anything coming up with CatCon, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on the golden whiskers,
oh
trying to get
yeah,
all those videos. I have to make 35 individual videos
oh no,
for CatCon, so um, it takes some time, and so that's what I've been doing in my free time. I'm also working on my weight. I'm in the I want to plug his tournament. The Weekend Angler Josh is having a biggest losers like Uncle Lou, biggest losers catfish tournament. And so basically from January 15th to April 15th, you have a tournament to see who can lose the most percentage of body weight, and then he'll have a catfish tournament. I'm going to be fishing on April 17th, and you get to add that percentage to your fish. So that's pretty cool. I've been walking every day and doing that. So
nice.
yeah.
We got one question to come in. That's what we're talking
Hey
about
Mary. Yeah, so I caught a 52-pound fish, and then the other one I didn't weigh it, but I imagine it was around the same size.
tonight. See, Roger's got one right here. That's actually a good question.
Um, well, it hasn't changed the way I fish because I didn't really catfish before YouTube. Not a lot, but it impacts the way I fish currently because you're always thinking about if you're live streaming, you can only go where you can get service. So
Yep.
you have to maximize the area that you have service in. So, and I know all the YouTubers deal with that live stream because they may get skunked, but 100 yards that way, they know they can catch some fish, but they don't have any cell phone signal.
No
But
service.
but as far as filming goes, I'm always thinking about angles and sound, and I'll be reeling in a fish and I'll just stop reeling in the fish to adjust the camera. So I'm always playing with fate when it comes to fishing because uh I'm reeling in to try to get that right angle to try to make the video experience the best for my viewers. And so I'll just stop reeling in. I'll put the rod in the rod holder and adjust the camera and pick it back up and just get right into it.
Oh man.
And that takes discipline, that takes because who doesn't get excited every time the rod goes down? So, you're reeling in that fish, but you have to keep thinking about, oh, what is this looking like? Do I want a
Yep.
different angle? Where's the sunlight at? How's my sound? Is my chest camera on? All that stuff.
Yeah, it definitely made me pay more attention because used to I'm trying to get a fish in as quick as possible so they're not fighting too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in the beginning, because we've had this channel 3 years now, and in the beginning, I've missed a lot of fish on camera because I'm just sitting here like, oh my god, get him in, what check him out, throw him back, and then like, oh my god, did I have my camera on? No, I didn't have
Right.
my camera. I was just
Yeah,
after
that's
the fish.
that's something that I'm adamant about, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And I always make sure that the fish's health is comes first. And I don't want anybody to think. You brought up a good point. I don't leave the fish hanging out there on the hook for 30 minutes. It's just for a couple seconds to move a camera and then I'm back on it.
Right.
But that fish, if they're in the water and they're swimming around, there's not really anything hurting them. But yeah, adjusting that camera, making sure everything's on, making sure your lens is clean, I
Yeah.
think is a lot of things that, um, and then I had another challenge thrown at me in January. I don't know if everybody knows about it, but there's a online catfishing tournaments now. Kayak Mike runs them. So I joined the month-long boat tournament. So not only am I trying to find the fish, I'm
Oh,
trying to catch the fish, I'm trying to film the fish, I'm trying to measure the fish and keep the fish healthy and get it back in the water. Um, I only screwed up one time. I in January I had a 34-inch fish that would have, I'd still be in third place like I am now, but it would have helped me, you know, get my score up. But yeah, that's a great question, Roger, and I think he knows that too. He's been catfishing longer than I have, and that camera changes everything. You're not fishing for your own enjoyment anymore. You're thinking about everybody else who's going to watch.
right.
What's the most extreme thing you've done for a YouTube channel? For a YouTube video? Well, I mean, I've I've messed around with the drone a couple times, and I almost lost it one time. I remember J.R. Cochran was down New School catfishing. He came down and fished with me the 2 Novembers ago, and we were trying to find the fish, uh, so all day, and I had the drone up, and it's not my drone; it belongs to the school. Don't tell nobody. But but there was a heavy fog, and it lost contact, and I
Oh
couldn't get it to
no.
come down. So that kind of freaked me out. But I guess extreme is relative. I've had some extreme moments that weren't planned. But if he's asking about planned stuff, I have a video coming out tomorrow night at 7. And I'll be doing a premiere. Those seem to be popular now. But I camped out on the boat, and I slept on the boat, cooked on the boat, fished on it and everything. So that was really fun. Other than that, just getting in some bad circumstances. I remember Amy and Larry and Cody came down to fish, and we got skunked and got caught in a thunderstorm. That was pretty gnarly.
Oh man. Yeah, I was gonna say, as far this is I mean, this is about you and your experience, but it just reminded me what crazy things I've done. So for a video, I got out in my kayak paddling baits for, shark fishing down in Florida.
Mhm.
It was dead in the middle of the winter. It was like 40 or 38-degree water. No swim, nothing, just paddling out there. I like to froze to death. I mean,
I
it ended up
bet.
being a good trip, but halfway through those waves and I was getting splashed with that water, it was taking my breath. I was thinking, good God, man, are we
Mm.
sure this is what we want to be doing? Of
Yeah.
course, I
Yeah,
don't
I've
know
asked
how many
myself
fish I
that.
can catch.
I've asked myself that several times.
Now, I've really enjoyed your camping videos that you've been doing. These going out, like almost mini adventures that you're going out on these islands and stuff with your boat. So
Yeah, I
that's going to be
love
a
it.
good one. Oh
I
yeah.
love it. Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. If y'all want to go come hang out in the premiere and chat while it's going on. It's not as long as the last camping video, but it's not a short one. But I love those things, man. I've really invested in doing those types of videos. I saw that let's see. Who was it? Oh, Muskrat. Do you watch any other genres to add ideas for video? Yeah, I watch, I love watching all of our guys' stuff in the community, but the majority of stuff I watch isn't catfishing. Um, I love watching camping videos and bushcraft videos, and um, I like watching people that just do unique things and watching how they film it. And I also watch some vlog channels like Peter McKinnon. Peter McKinnon, Peter McKinnon. I'll watch him for a while and then I'll get tired of him because he's kind of how do I say it? Um, I don't know. He's just really new age, I guess. I don't know. It kind of we don't live in the same world. He'll buy a $400 wallet because it looks cool. It's just
Oh,
we're not in the same niche.
right.
But he's an excellent videographer and an editor, so I watch him a lot too. But yeah, I like watching homesteading shows. My wife loves watching those, and we just watch those and dream. We wished one time we can at one time we could have our own farm and like mini farm, like little goats and stuff like that. But
Let's
and
see.
let's see. I saw Jody said asked me if I'd be in a flathead challenge. I didn't catch a single flathead in 2021. Isn't that sad?
Really?
I didn't catch a single one.
Wow.
Yeah. I tried too, man. I tried. I just didn't catch one. We're known for like blues. I mean, blues are a thing, and the first flathead I caught, I saw Jimmy caught a flathead in the river in one of his videos early on, and then Jeremy caught that 64 pounder in the river, and that's those are the only two flatheads I saw come out the river. My dad caught one too, but I didn't see that one. I tell him he caught my flathead for the year, because he was in the spot that I like to fish that I camped in, and he caught a 40-pound flathead out that spot.
Wow. I didn't catch numbers of flatheads this last year. I caught quality, which I mean I'm good with that. You know what I mean? That's
Mhm.
my favorite catfish. So if I
Yeah, it's a
can
good fight.
if I can catch a flathead every time I go out, I don't care if he's this big. My trip's made just because they're amazing to me. I think they're the coolest looking
Yeah.
catfish, and the fact that they're almost kind of like the top predator of their water. It's neat to me. They got, even a little bitty one's got big basketball stomachs, they just look ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I think our so the good thing is that the state record flathead came out of the river I fish in, and the state record blue cat comes out the lake that we fish out of. So the odds are in our favor, to catch big fish. Um, the state record blue cat wasn't that long ago. I think it was 2019. The
Okay.
state record flathead was back in, I think, the early 90s, maybe. I have to look it up. No, I don't have a $400 watch, Michael Murillo, or a wallet, Michael Murillo. You offering?
Right. I'll take a $2 wallet with 398 bucks in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to do more camping/cooking videos. I want to do a catch and cook. So y'all be looking forward to that. I want to do some more island hunting. There's tons of little islands all over the lake. I want to go and explore those. That'll be more of a summertime thing. But I'm getting some rod holders from Muddy River Rod Holders. He's Austin is sending me some rod holders to use, so those are going to be awesome. I bought a cot, and you'll see in this video, I got all kinds of gear to use, and I just really like doing that. And I think that, with catfishing, YouTube catfishing being so saturated, I think I think people might enjoy catfishing, but then, a little offshoot of it, just a little extra.
A
You know
different
what I'm
side
saying?
to
Yeah, just a, more exploration and, you know, of course you got to try to catch a catfish in those too.
it.
But I think I'm getting to the point to where people watch my channel because they enjoy the content that I bring and not so much the fish that I catch. Because if it was about the fish that I catch, they'd be gone a long time ago.
I don't know about that. You catch good fish.
Yeah, I do. I catch, they're average your average size for around here, but I know that I am blessed, and I don't forget that. I'm blessed to live in where we live, and small fish for us is a big one for some people. So I do feel blessed in that. You're right.
I
I'm not
see
a I'm an island boy.
I see a comment from Zoe, and I'm going to add a different twist to it. She put, "What's the longest you've ever been in the woods?" But actually, I want to know what's the longest you're going to be in the woods for one of your videos.
Man, I just got some uh I don't know, it's not unfortunate news because that would sound bad. So we're getting a new pastor at our church, and the guy I walk with is our associate pastor. So we walk every afternoon after work to lose the lbs, and I was gonna go present. So I'm an educator, so I get President's Day off. So I was gonna go that weekend and do like a 3 day 2 night deal, and but our one of the candidates that's going to be could be our pastors coming to the church. So I need to be there. I need to put that priority there. God comes first.
Right.
So I need to be there. So I want to do a longer one. So I guess the longest one I'm going to do so far that I have planned is Anna and I are going to Dreer Island in Columbia. And it is a state campground, but we'll be camping there for 4 days. 4 days, 5 days, something around 4 or 5 days. So we'll be fishing off the bank um, up there in Columbia and Lake Murray. So I'm gonna film that whole thing, obviously, and it's gonna be a lot of cooking. Hopefully, we can catch some good fish off the bank and do some catching cooks. So that'll be the longest one coming up, I guess, is right there in April
That's a
during
good
our
amount of
spring break.
time. 4 or 5 days. That's a good camp trip right there.
Yeah, and the only reason I can get away with that is because my wife loves me. Number one, she enjoys the outdoors. Number two, and number three, there's power and public bathroom facilities. So,
Right. Exactly.
because the bucket gets old after a while.
You'd be glad you have it though sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't wanna get too explicit on your channel, but in each one of those camping trips that I put up, the bucket was a necessity.
Oh yeah. See old has life sneaking in here. What's going on, bud?
Hey, he just started a new channel. I saw that. That's cool. Yeah, Columbia has some beautiful catfish. Yeah, there's a big one caught out of Lake Murray, man. I am a lucky man. Yeah. Stonefly, I have my portable toilet is a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat lid on it. From Walmart, and then we have some biodegradable bags that we put in there, and you bury them. Not in a state campground, obviously. But if you're out on an island, being an island boy, then you dig you a trench and you bury it, and they biodegrade in there. So that's a
Awesome.
lot. It's a lot better than what we used to do. We used to go find a log and sit on top of the log and just hang it on the other side. So
Right. Do what you got to do. Well, I'm glad you made it tonight. This was epic. I appreciate you being here. We're actually gonna go ahead and get off of here. Get everybody a little bit of time before Catfish Weekly starts.
cool.
If there's anything else you want to say before we get out of here, you know,
I just appreciate you having me on, man. Coming from the life of I used to do this. I used to do the shows, and I know how hard it is to get guests. And you don't get invited on much anymore. So I appreciate it. I look forward to all these. I don't care what size your channel is. I appreciate you asking me. I really truly mean that.
I appreciate you being here, and hopefully over the next year you get some more. Maybe we can get you on here talking about a new
Yeah.
fish. You know what I mean? This is
Yep.
a repeat thing. People come back
Yep.
to new fish,
The next goal is the 60, baby. I need that 60 sticker.
right? We need to see you get about a 70-pound flathead out of your
Yeah,
area. That'd
I
be
would I would take that as well.
well, guys. I appreciate everybody being in here tonight. If I missed your question, sorry about that. It's just between talking and everything, it's hard to keep up. But if you have any questions for anything, feel free to message us or email.
Mhm.
On Facebook or do our email address or anything. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this over. Everybody, Catfish Weekly has started up, and we'll see y'all in there.
All right, bye everybody.